Good afternoon, and thank everybody for coming out. My name is Larry Matichuk. I'm a Business Manager, Financial Secretary of Local Union 488 of the United Association of Plumbers and Pipefitters, and also a trustee on the apprenticeship board for the Alberta Pipe Trades College. On behalf of UA Local 488, I would like to welcome all of you for attending today. I know firsthand how difficult it is with so many busy schedules for you to make it. We really do appreciate it. Before we begin our semi-formal introductions, I would personally like to thank the UA Local 488's Retired Members Association for serving a wonderful barbecue this afternoon. I hope everybody had a chance to participate. We have a Retired Members Association as part of our local union that is second to none. They routinely give their time to do things like this on a regular basis. They're always there to support every activity that we get involved in. Also, thank you to all of our staff and students who give their all every day. There is a reason why we are considered the college of choice in achieving the best possible education and the skills necessary to succeed on the job site. And we salute the hard work of both the students and first-class instructors that we have here. I would like to acknowledge a couple of government officials who are also joining us this afternoon. First, I'd like to welcome Dana Mackey, Executive Director of Industry Training and Client Communications with the Government of Alberta. We look forward to working with you in the upcoming months on various educational and industry-related matters and some special initiatives. We'll work together to help develop a highly skilled and well-trained workforce for the province and for this country. Also joining us this afternoon is Sue Welke, Executive Director of the Workforce Initiatives Branch in Workforce Strategies Division. Ms. Welke, we also look forward to working with you in your department as you develop and deliver diverse trade and occupation programs that contribute to a trained and skilled mobile workforce. Last but not least, I would like to thank John Telford, Director of Canadian Affairs for the United Association, for coming all the way across the country to join us today. John has been a tremendous advocate for our college, and his generosity has enabled us to equip our facilities with the highest quality equipment for our students. Thank you, John. And now, we have some special... I have not been remiss in my introductions. We have some special guests who are going to say a few words. And I'm going to turn the podium over to Bill Wilson, Director of the Alberta Pipe Trades College, who will serve as our MC for the rest of the event. Thank you. Bill.
Thanks very much, Larry. It just seemed like yesterday that when we first opened the doors of the Alberta Pipe Trades College back in April of 2009. At that time, we had a unique opportunity to bring together education, government, industry, and students for the long-term betterment of the trades across Alberta. As the Alberta Pipe Trades College Director, I firmly believe that our new 10,500 square foot facility, Welding Center, will continue this tradition. The center is another example of the college's overall goal of giving Albertans the best possible education and allowing them to succeed on the job site. We will continue to work with government and stakeholders to ensure that we keep Albertans trained on the very best state-of-the-art equipment and are ready to work in our ever-changing job market. It is my privilege today to be the MC of this event, and so without further delay, I'm going to introduce our first speaker. I would like to welcome Margaret McQuaig Boyd, who was elected to the Legislative Assembly of Alberta in May, representing the riding of Dunvegan Central Peace Notley. In May of this year, she was appointed Minister of Energy for the province of Alberta. The Honourable Minister was born in Calgary, holds a master's degree in Education, Administration and Leadership. She served as Vice President of Fairview College campus in Grand Prairie Regional College from 2009 to 2013, and has experience working in the energy industry in that capacity seeing that students were trained to work in it. We are honored that she found time in her busy day to join us today to say a few words. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alberta's Minister of Energy, Margaret McQuaig-Boyd.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a loud voice, so I don't want to drown you out here. So thank you, Larry, and thank you, local UA 448, for having us here today and for your kind introduction. It's very exciting to be invited to share this grand opening for your new welding centre. As mentioned in my introduction, I have three brothers who are tradespeople. My dad was a tradesperson as well, so it's in the blood a little bit. And I spent almost 5 years as the vice president for the Fairview campus of Grand Prairie Regional College, which is all trades. And so you don't have to ask me twice to come and hang around with tradespeople. I'm a big trades fan. So today I'm privileged to join with my colleague John Carson to bring greetings and congratulations from not only Premier Rachel Notley, but also Minister Laurie Sigurdsson, who is responsible for innovation, advanced education, job skills, training, and labor. I'm glad I only have energy in my title. So there's no community, no industrial or commercial facility that does not depend on playing trades. Tradespeople create the backbone of a modern, growing province and economy, especially here in Alberta. Your work helps Albertans to transport our resources, keep our energy economy flowing, and create the jobs that allow us to enjoy a very high quality of life in Alberta. And our government does understand the need to ensure our economic success. Just last week, Premier Notley told investors in Montreal, Toronto and New York as well, that Alberta needs an open, sustainable and increasingly diversified economy to succeed. Our government will give Albertans a plan to protect and create jobs today and to plan to diversify our economy for the jobs we need tomorrow. Our government wants to help create excellent opportunities for new manufacturers, processors and investors. And every new business, every new facility, and every new neighborhood will need skilled workers like you to get it built. Recently I was talking to a group of oil sands people in Calgary, and I asked them, what are the trades that when things pick up and you start those big projects again, what are the trades you're going to need? And they gave me 3 areas. First was power engineering, second was instrument tech, third was welding and pipe trades. So you're right on the mark of the training we're going to need in the future. This means that the pipe trade professionals who will be trained at this new welding centre and at this college will be pillars of Alberta's economic future, a future that will continue to evolve. In addition to helping meet the needs of businesses, families, and growing communities, we also need to meet the needs of our energy economy, which needs more pipelines. As Minister of Energy, I'm looking at ways to get our oil and gas products to new markets, and we know that the safest way is more pipelines. My goal is to work to get new pipelines built, and I hope it translates into more good jobs for skilled workers like you. I applaud UA Local 488 for having the vision to see the need to adapt to the future and to the drive to take action and the dedication to continue to innovate. This new welding centre is proof. Its capacity and technology have flexibility to prepare students for changing workplace conditions, requirements, and standards. So we're all here today to celebrate this welding centre milestone. You have all earned it. Use this celebration to rededicate your local and this truly remarkable college to innovation and to education and industry partnerships that are so essential to a sustainable, adaptable, and successful workplace for our Alberta economy. And you can count on our new government to share that commitment with you as we fulfill our promise to create good jobs and lasting prosperity that benefits all of us in Alberta. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister McQuaig-Boyd. Our next speaker is Mr. John Carson. Mr. Carson was elected to the Legislative Assembly of Alberta representing the constituency of Edmonton Meadowlark, which is our constituency here, on May 5th, 2015. He currently serves on the Standing Committee on Alberta's Economic Future and the Standing Committee on Privileges and Elections and Standing Orders and Printing. Mr. Carson attended post-secondary studies at the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, first attending a diploma in radio and television broadcasting, then returning for an electrical apprenticeship. Prior to his election, Mr. Carson was employed as an electrician, so he gets extra kudos. We are pleased that he is here with us today to say a few words, so please welcome Mr. John Carson.
I'm an apprentice, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so proud to stand here today, first of all with our Minister of Energy, Craig Boyd, as well as all of you who made the time to join us today, to congratulate UA Local Union 488 for this state-of-the-art addition to the Alberta Pipe Trades College. I'm delighted that you chose my community and our community, Edmonton Meadowlark, as the location of this new welding centre, where men and women will be equipped with the skills to build a more prosperous Alberta. I've been working at this new job for a few months now, and I'm still getting used to the suit and tie. Before, last year at this time, my work uniform was quite different, a hard hat, steel-toed boots, and some wire strippers on my side. Before the election, as was mentioned, I was working as an apprentice electrician, and before that I worked construction as a general laborer. I can tell you that I took and continue to take a great deal of pride in that uniform and what it means to my family, our community, and this province. Working in the trades is not easy. The hours are long, sometimes the work is dangerous, but finishing a project is a very rewarding experience. Our government understands that skilled tradespeople fuel our economy, and we will continue to support you with the education and the safety of your workforce. As a card-carrying union member, I want to recognize UA Local Union 488 for its foresight in establishing the premier training facility for the pipe trades industry in Canada. Alberta's economic heart is the oil patch. Alberta's economic heart is the oil patch. This province's wells, the oil rigs, and the pipelines are its circulatory system. In order to keep that system flowing, we need skilled people to build that system and keep it working. I also know that UA Local Union 488 puts a premium on safety for all the workers it represents. We all have a right to return home safely each day after an honest day's work. On behalf of all the children and spouses, moms and dads, sisters, brothers, and families of your members, thank you for everything you do to keep them safe. Once again, congratulations on your official opening and for helping build a better and stronger Alberta. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carson. Our next speaker is John Telford. Prior to John Telford's appointment to the position of Director of Canadian Affairs and International Vice President, District 6, on January 1st, 2007, he held the position of Special Representative from January 1st, 2002. Before being assigned to the United Association, Brother Telford was the business manager of Plumbers and Pipefitters Local 221, Kingston, Ontario. Since Mr. Telford's appointment to the Canadian office, he has sat on a number of committees, including the Canadian Training Trust Fund and the National Pipeline Pension Training Fund, among others. John was also the recipient of the 2011 Mechanical Contractors Association Ontario Industry Achievement Award for his long-standing involvement and commitment to the association and industry, an award usually reserved for a contractor. John is the first union representative to ever receive that award. We are honored to have John here, so please welcome Mr. John Telford.
I had to come 3,000 miles to see a young, honest politician. My office is in Ottawa. I don't run into a lot of them. Anyway, thank you. Thanks, Larry and Bill, for the opportunity to speak here today. I'll be brief. There's one thing I'd like to just touch on before I get on to the training side of this thing. Well, it is training. And it's every time I come here and I see the Trade Winds Success Program that this local is running up on the second floor here, and I see this an opportunity for Aboriginal youth, an untapped resource that you guys have decided you're going to help out those people, and my hat goes off to you. We run a program in Ontario. It's called Hammerheads, very much like this, and it's youth at risk in the Toronto area. Great success. And again, Bill, I applaud you for that program. I know that the federal government pulled their money out of that years ago. And that program looked like it was going to die, and with the efforts of 488 and your provincial government and the other building trades, it's up and running and keep it running. Fantastic facility here. When we opened this one in, what year, Bill? 2009. And you know, there was talk then about a new welding center, because we had the welding center over on the other side, and then you know, we heard a little bit, and then all of a sudden I was there one day and I saw some footings in the ground, and I said, Jesus Christ, they're going to do this. So then they started to build this one, and you know, we were approached by the Canadian Training Fund when we built that one. We supply a lot of the tools and equipment inside there. I just talked to Larry Slaney, my director of training in Canada, and I think that the UA Canadian Training Fund, which is supported by a nickel an hour for every hour worked by every UA person across this country. A nickel an hour for every hour worked in this country goes into a training fund. We have put approximately $4 million into this local within these two facilities. And just to share something, usually every time I leave here, I always get a nice little golf shirt from Bill. And then when I get it home and I unfold it, there's a training grant request for about $500,000. I got about $8 million worth of golf shirts in my place. And I don't need 3XL. 2 would be good. You know, this facility is completely run by the local. There's no contractor funding here. There's no provincial funding here that I know of. And that's a tribute to our members. Our members pay it, and they get the training that they have here in front of them today. The future of the UA, and the future, not just in Alberta, but the future of the UA in Canada is in our training facilities. That's why we're better than the competition. We do it once, we do it right. We produce the most productive, most professional, and safest workforce in the construction industry, by far, without a doubt. I had an interview earlier today, and one of the questions that the interviewer asked me was, well, you know, why the trades? The trades used to be a fallback position. Everybody sent their son or daughter to college, and after they flunked out or got drunk and got kicked out, then they'd say, well, my uncle's a plumber, why don't you go apply there? That's not the case anymore. This is an alternative to college. It's an alternative to university. This is a place to be we're professionals. We've brought the industry from the 50s and the 60s to 215. We're professionals just like all those other people are. It's not a fallback position. It's a very rewarding career. Pay to learn. How good is that? You know, you don't come out of here owing $200,000, or your parents, or you get out of somewhere and your parents owe $200,000. So I really believe that, and when you look at these facilities, you know, I don't believe that there's a community college. I probably know more community colleges in Ontario because I'm from Ontario. There's no community college in Ontario that has facilities like this to teach our trade. And I doubt there's one in Alberta. I just haven't been to community colleges. But again, in closing, I want to thank Bill. I want to just tip my hat to Bill and his staff for the work they do here. We train our plumbers and our pipe fitters here now, Bill. I don't know all the facts here, so I have to ask a few questions, but I take my hat off to Bill and all of his staff, more staff now, for the welding. Everybody in this industry knows the organization that controls the welders is going to control the work. When this work opens up again, and it hasn't stopped yet for us, we're still fully employed in this local with travel cards in here, and that's one thing I would like to touch on, Ed. I kind of jump around when I do speak to, but there's a lot of people in this country that owe a great debt to this local. This local has paid mortgages and health and welfare benefits and put pensions in people's pockets from Newfoundland, Cape Breton, Ontario, British Columbia for the last 20 years. Guys have been coming out here to make a living, and they appreciate it, and they get treated well every day. They get to use these. My travel card members get to use these training facilities. We've had more travel card members get their steam fitters tickets in Alberta than we have at home. Because while they're up here and they're in camp, they get to take our training here. That's all supplied for free of cost. So those nickels that we were talking about. But again, in closing, Bill, Larry, I take my hat off to you. You said you were going to do it. You did it. The members put the money up, and this is what they get for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. I don't know how anybody would could upstage John when he speaks because he's quite dynamic and he definitely speaks from the heart. But I'm going to try to do that today. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to try to do that. We're going to talk about the future. And our next speaker represents the future of the UA and represents the future of the Alberta Pipe Trades College. And she truly exemplifies what the Alberta Pipe Trades College is all about. Alana Markland grew up in Grande Cache, Alberta. She now resides in Fort Saskatchewan with her husband. Alana started her welding apprenticeship in August 2012 at Aecon Industrial, and she's been there ever since. Alana is a prime example of how hard work can lead to success. Earlier this year, Alana carried the Canadian flag in the welding competition in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Facing tough competition from her American and Australian counterparts, Alana was awarded the Allen Parameter and George Bliss Award for demonstrating exceptional leadership and honoring the ideals set forth by her standard of excellence. Alana is an award-winning welder at the local, regional, and national levels, and we are happy she took time off of work today to help us celebrate today. Ladies and gentlemen, Alana Markland.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know how I'm going to up John Telford on his speech because he's always fantastic, but I'm going to try. As Bill introduced, my name is Alana Markland. I'm currently a third-year welding apprentice, but my journeyman ticket should actually be in the mail anytime soon. I attended all 3 years of my apprentice training here at the Alberta Pipe Trades College, and I honestly did not think that in those 3 quick years I would be where I was today without the help from the college. The local Union 488 combined with the college has given me so much opportunity to advance within my trade. First, I guess I can start out how my career began. I started my apprenticeship in August of 2012 with Aecon Industrial Western. It wasn't easy finding a company to take on a brand new employee, let alone one with no experience in the trades. So after a good year or so of searching, I was finally offered a welding apprenticeship. I had spent close to 5 years after high school graduation working in an office as a receptionist and realized that sitting behind the desk was not something I wanted to do forever. I figured that I'm from Alberta, there's so much industry here and so much work in the trades, and I wanted to get in on it. Opportunity was right in front of me, and I was ready to take it. Once I finally began my welding apprenticeship, it opened my eyes to a whole new world. I previously was working at a museum, and I went from accessioning artifacts to grinding the inside of a 36-inch pipe and cutting with a plasma torch. I did a complete career backflip, and I couldn't be happier. Although I loved my job at the museum, it just wasn't me. I figured I'd give welding a shot. After all, I didn't really have anything to lose. Not only was I a new apprentice, but I was also a new union member. It was actually my job steward who let me know about the Alberta Pipe Trades College and helped me sign up for my first year. The first selling feature for me, of course, was, well, there's free parking. And second was the small class sizes. The third feature is that I'd have a chance to learn more about the union that I just joined. And having school on the same property as a 488 was perfect. Not only was I able to take advantage of the other courses they offered, but I was able to head over to 488's welding shop to practice after hours if I needed to. It was all the pipe trades amenities wrapped up in one place. I had such a great time in my first year of school that I decided to take all 3 years of college. The instructors I had were great, the small class sizes were perfect. The classroom itself felt more like a learning environment. We were able to actually have class discussions, work through material instead of just listening and sitting down to a lecture. The small class sizes made for excellent shop class because welding is such a hands-on trade, and I believe it's crucial to be able to develop those skills. With an instructor having a small class size, it just gives them the ability to help weld where it's needed. I completed my first and second year pretty much back to back. and completed my third year in December of 2014. I knew that the college was really gaining a great reputation when I went to sign up for my third year and the lineup was out the door. Not only did the Alberta Pipe Trades College give me the education and skill set to be a good tradesperson, but they took me farther in my welding apprenticeship than I ever thought possible. In 2015, as a third-year welding apprentice, I was asked to participate in the UA Regional Skills Competition in Vancouver. I couldn't pass up the chance to try it. Although I knew it would be up against some of the best apprentices, I figured I'd give it my best shot. I learned more than I expected. I went into the competition as a welding apprentice, but ended up doing pipe fitting and plumbing projects as well. To my surprise, I ended up winning the regional and was on my way to Toronto to compete in the national competition this past June. My experience in Toronto was even tougher. They added blueprinting and rigging, among more pipe fitting, to the task that we had to complete. Lucky for me, spending time at the college had prepared me for the upcoming competition. The amenities here at the college cover all bases of the piping trades. After 3 days of tough competition in Toronto, and again to my surprise, I ended up winning the national competition and was headed to Ann Arbor, Michigan to compete in the UA International Skills Competition. Ann Arbor was a fantastic experience, and I was able to meet many different trades apprentices from all over North America, including Australia. There were so many different tasks we were being tested on, and it just proved to me how dedicated the UA is to having well-rounded journeymen and apprentices. Upon arrival in Michigan, I learned that I was the first ever woman to have ever made it to the international competition, and that's something I'll always be proud of. The competition was very tight, and I expected it. After all, these competitors had also won their regional and district competitions. I didn't end up winning the welding portion, but I was awarded the George Bliss and Alan Perry Mentor Award from the UA Directors of Training. This award recognizes an apprentice who demonstrates leadership and exemplifies the values of the Union Standard for Excellence. I was the first Canadian to have ever accepted this award in all of the competition, and I couldn't be prouder to be Canada's representative for this award. The skills that I acquired from working at Aecon Industrial Fab Shop and the time and courses I took at the Alberta Pipe Trades College not only helped me to be a worthy competitor, but it has given me the skills and the education to be a well-rounded tradesperson. These skills were not just meant for the competition, but for my career. Knowledge is key, and it takes great instructors and educated journeymen to pass on the tricks of the trade. I've been fortunate enough to encounter both of those in my apprenticeship. When I first began my apprenticeship, I didn't even know what a MIG machine was. But here I am, 3 years later, journeyman ticket in the mail, C-pressure welding tickets, competitor in the UA Apprenticeship Skills Competition, and here I am speaking to all of you. It all began with Aecon giving me the opportunity to start my trade. The UA Local 488 accepted me as a member and was standing their dedication to provide top-notch training, and the Alberta Pipe Trades College for giving me the education, support to finish my apprenticeship, and the drive to do a good job. I couldn't be happier for everyone here at the college and the UA Local 488 on their grand opening of the new welding center. It's been a lot of hard work making this college what it is today. I'm proud to say I've completed all of my training here, and if I'm being really honest, I'd love to come back to school so I can redo everything in the brand new facility. I wish the college many years of success. To all the future students, I hope that you come out of your training with pride and have an amazing experience. After all, as apprentices, we are the future of the industry. With the proper training, we can make the next years even better than the last. Thank you so much for your time.
I don't know how we could top that speech. My God. Have a look at Alana. Say hi to Alana on the way out, because that's our future. Young people are our future. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. Have a look at our facilities. I hope everybody had enough food. And thank you very much, Minister McQuaid-Boyd, Mr. Carson. Have a great day.